Focus or fail, the choice that shapes your entire life. It's that simple. The world doesn't reward potential. It doesn't celebrate your ideas, your dreams, your hopes unless you have the discipline to focus and bring them to life. Every day you wake up, you're making a decision. Either you focus on what truly matters or you drift through distractions, noise, and meaningless motion. One builds your destiny. The other buries it. You don't need more time, you need more focus. Life is not waiting for you to get ready, it's moving. Every second you spend scattered, every moment you let slip in hesitation, you are trading it for a future you'll never touch. Focus is the weapon that cuts through chaos. It's how you dominate your day. It's how you build what others only fantasize about. People fail not because they lack talent. They fail because they divide their energy. They chase everything and catch nothing. They scroll when they should be building. They react when they should be creating. They get lost in the noise, forgetting the mission that once set their soul on fire. Success is not about being busy. It's about being intentional. One clear target, one unshakable direction. That's the difference between greatness and regret. You've got a fire inside you. You know it. But fire without focus burns everything down. You need to aim it, control it, train it. When your focus becomes non-negotiable, your results become undeniable. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and become the architect of your future, because focus creates momentum. Momentum creates results, and results change everything. You don't get to the top by being average 5 days a week and focused for one. You get there by eliminating everything that doesn't serve your mission. By making your goals louder than your excuses. You stop chasing approval. You stop entertaining distractions. You lock in, tune out, and build. Focus becomes your standard, not your mood. So today, right now, make a decision. No more drifting. No more waiting for the perfect moment. No more playing small because your attention is all over the place. You've got a vision. Now protect it with focus so fierce that nothing can knock you off track. The world may try to pull you in 1,000 directions, but you only need one: forward. Focus or fail, it's always been that clear. You don't need more time, you need more focus. That's the truth most people avoid because it's easier to blame the clock than to confront the chaos in their own mind. Time is fixed. Every person on this planet gets the same 24 hours in a day. But what separates those who rise from those who stay stuck is not more hours, it's what they do with them. It's how they lock in. It's how they choose to direct their attention with precision and intensity. Time is not your enemy. Distraction is. Lack of clarity is. Excuses disguised as business are. Most people live in a state of constant reaction. They wake up and immediately hand over their attention to the world, to messages, to notifications, to other people's priorities. And then they wonder why they feel behind, overwhelmed, or stuck. They think, if I just had a few more hours, I'd finally get ahead. But they wouldn't, because more time isn't the answer. Without focus, more time only multiplies procrastination. It amplifies distraction. It gives you more room to drift, not more power to execute. The truth is, a single focused hour is more valuable than 10 distracted ones. When you're locked in, fully present, and intentional, your actions carry weight. Your decisions create movement. Your progress becomes measurable. But when your attention is fractured, pulled in 100 directions, even the simplest tasks feel heavy, and the most important ones keep getting delayed. Focus is the force that multiplies your time by maximizing the power of each moment. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters with energy and direction. People who struggle with time management often don't have a time problem. They have a focus problem. They try to juggle everything at once, believing that multitasking is efficient. But it's not. Multitasking is the illusion of progress. It spreads your energy thin and kills momentum. Focus means choosing one target and giving it everything. It's the discipline to shut out the noise, say no to distractions, and protect your mental space like your future depends on it, because it does. Every goal you've set, every dream you've imagined, every result you've desired, they all depend on your ability to focus, because focus turns ideas into actions and actions into outcomes. It's how visions come to life. You can read all the books, write all the plans, and talk about what you're going to do, but without focus, none of it means anything. Execution lives in the land of focus. That's where transformation happens. Think about the last time you were truly focused, not scrolling, not multitasking, not daydreaming, just locked in. Maybe you were working on something important. Maybe you were solving a problem. Maybe you were creating something meaningful. In that moment, time felt different. You weren't watching the clock. You were in flow. That's what focus gives you: control, clarity, momentum. You don't need more hours like that. You need to create more moments like that by removing what doesn't belong. Distractions aren't just digital. They come in the form of doubts, fears, overthinking, unnecessary obligations, and even toxic relationships. If it's stealing your attention, it's stealing your life. Focus demands boundaries. It demands courage. Because it's not just about turning off your phone. It's about tuning into your mission. It's about honoring your goals enough to protect them from everything that dilutes your drive. Every time you say yes to a distraction, you're saying no to your vision. And you can't build a legendary life by saying no to it every day. You've been convinced that being busy is the same as being productive, but it's not. Busyness is a trap. It keeps you moving without meaning. Focus breaks that cycle. It forces you to ask what actually moves the needle, what actually aligns with my goals, what's worth my time, my energy, my attention. When you start asking those questions, you stop chasing everything and start building something. Most breakthroughs don't require you to work longer. They require you to work smarter, more focused, more strategic, more intentional. It's not about grinding for 16 hours a day doing everything. It's about locking in for 4 powerful hours doing the right things. That's how success is built. Not through scattered effort, but through focused execution day after day. Your life is shaped by what you focus on. If your attention is constantly pulled toward problems, negativity, and distractions, that's what you'll create more of. But if you train your mind to focus on solutions, goals, growth, and execution, that's what will expand. Focus is not just a skill, it's a decision, a daily, relentless decision to stay aligned with what matters most. So stop telling yourself you need more time. You've had time, you have it now. What you need is to step up, block out the noise, and get obsessed with what matters. Focus isn't easy, but it's worth everything. It's the difference between staying where you are and becoming who you were meant to be. People fail not because they lack talent, but because they divide their energy. Talent is never the issue. It's what you do with it that counts. The world is full of talented people who never reach their potential, not because they don't have the skill, but because they never learn to direct their energy toward one powerful purpose. They scatter their attention across 1,000 things, trying to do everything, please everyone, and chase every opportunity that comes their way. But the truth is this divided energy leads to diluted results, and diluted results never build greatness. When your energy is split, your progress stalls. You start a project, then jump to another. You get excited about a new idea only to abandon it halfway through when something shinier shows up. You spend your days reacting to distractions, trying to juggle tasks, switching from one thing to the next without ever gaining traction. You're busy, but you're not effective. You're moving, but you're not going anywhere. Motion isn't momentum, it's the illusion of progress, and that illusion is where dreams go to die. Success demands something deeper. It demands focus, commitment, and consistency, not for a day, not for a week, but over time in the face of boredom, frustration, and setbacks. That kind of focus only comes when your energy is united, when you stop leaking your power into 10 different directions and start channeling it into one mission, one target, one purpose. That's when things begin to shift. That's when you stop spinning your wheels and start gaining real ground. You might be talented, you might even be gifted, but if your energy is fragmented, your talent won't matter. Talent without direction is like lightning without a rod, powerful but unfocused and useless. It burns out before it hits anything. Real success comes from taking whatever gifts you've been given and committing them to one meaningful path. That's where impact lives. That's where mastery begins. Dividing your energy doesn't just affect your work, it affects your identity. When you're constantly pulled in different directions, you lose your sense of purpose. You forget why you started. You feel overwhelmed, burnt out, and frustrated. You question your own ability, not because you aren't capable, but because you've never given yourself the space to go deep. You've stayed shallow, surface level, because that's what divided energy creates. Shallow work, shallow habits, shallow progress. Greatness isn't built on shallow effort. It's built on depth. It's built on obsession. It's built on the relentless decision to go all in, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when everything in you wants to quit. But you can't go all in if half of you is somewhere else. You can't dominate your goals if your mind is distracted and your energy is scattered. You have to choose be average at many things or be unstoppable at one. Every time you split your attention, you weaken your power. Every time you chase something outside your path, you delay what's meant for you. You don't need to chase more, you need to focus better. Because when all of your energy is aligned with one mission, you become a force. You move faster, think clearer, Execute sharper. You stop second guessing yourself because you're not distracted by the noise. You're locked in. That's when progress becomes predictable. That's when momentum takes over. People fail not because they don't have what it takes, but because they never learn to concentrate their power. And concentration is a choice, a hard one. It means saying no. It means sacrificing the good for the great. It means eliminating distractions, walking away from comfortable routines, and letting go of anything that doesn't move the mission forward. But that sacrifice is where your edge is born. That sacrifice is the price of excellence. You have what it takes, but you need to stop giving pieces of yourself to everything and everyone. You can't give 20% here, 30% there, and expect 100% results. It doesn't work like that. The results you want are hiding behind the energy you're wasting. Take it back. Reclaim it. Redirect it toward the vision that actually matters to you. You don't need to be more talented. You don't need more opportunities. You need to become dangerous with your energy, ruthless with your focus, committed to one direction with every fiber of your being, because that's how goals become reality. That's how you stop failing and start dominating. Unite your energy and everything changes. Focus is the weapon that cuts through chaos. In a world overloaded with information, noise, and distraction, focus is not just helpful, it is essential. Without it, you drown in confusion. Without it, your priorities blur, your energy fractures, and your goals vanish beneath a flood of mental clutter. Chaos is everywhere. It surrounds you every time you pick up your phone, open a browser, scroll a feed, or let someone else's urgency become your emergency. And if you don't train your mind to cut through it, you will live your life reacting instead of building. Chaos doesn't always look like disaster. Sometimes it's disguised as opportunity. Too many choices, too many paths, too many shiny things pulling you in every direction. And when your mind tries to follow them all, it freezes, you hesitate, overthink, and delay, not because you're lazy, not because you don't want success, but because the noise has paralyzed your ability to act with certainty. That's what chaos does. It weakens decision-making, it fogs vision, it steals time. Focus is the blade that slices through that fog. It brings your next step into view and gives you the power to take it with force. Focus gives your mind direction. It transforms vague desires into precise targets. Instead of waking up and being overwhelmed by all you could do, focus tells you what you must do. It creates order where there was confusion. It silences what doesn't matter so that what does becomes loud, clear, and undeniable. When you focus, you create space for clarity, for execution, for momentum. You don't waste your day fighting distractions because your mission is too strong to be interrupted. Chaos also lives in your thoughts, in doubt, fear, worry, and the endless internal dialogue that tells you you're not ready. That voice never stops talking unless you stop listening. Focus is how you fight back. Because when your attention is locked on a goal bigger than your fear, the noise inside you starts to fade, you stop giving power to hesitation, and you start giving energy to action. That's how you gain ground. One focused decision at a time, one clear action repeated daily. Most people try to clean up the chaos around them by changing circumstances, deleting apps, buying planners, adjusting routines. Those can help, but they won't solve the problem if the root cause is an unfocused mind. Real control comes from within. It comes when you decide that nothing matters more than your mission. That decision sharpens your focus into a weapon, not a suggestion. You begin to act with urgency, not confusion. You stop entertaining anything that doesn't align with your direction. When you focus, chaos becomes irrelevant. It doesn't disappear, but it loses its grip. You don't need to control the whole world. You only need to control your attention, because your attention is your power. Wherever it goes, your energy follows. And whatever has your energy has your life. Focus makes sure that your life is going where you want it to go, not where the world drags you. The people who rise, who build legacies, who dominate their goals, they aren't immune to chaos. They've just learned how to cut through it. They don't waste energy fighting every distraction. They've trained themselves to ignore what doesn't move the needle. That's how they move faster, think clearer, and execute harder. Not because the world around them is calm, but because they are. Focus is the silent separator. It's not loud or flashy, but it's deadly to everything that stands in your way. It doesn't just organize your mind, it weaponizes it. You become someone who doesn't flinch when chaos hits. You keep building, you keep pushing, you keep showing up, even when everything around you is trying to pull you off course. And that's the truth. Life will always throw chaos your way. Distractions won't stop. Noise will never end. The game isn't about eliminating chaos. It's about becoming stronger than it. And the only way to do that is with focus so sharp that nothing can bend you. No excuse, no delay, no detour. So sharpen your mind, use your focus like a blade, cut through the noise, cut through the lies, cut through the distractions. Because on the other side of that chaos is everything you've been chasing, and the only way to get there is through. Fire without focus burns everything down. Energy, passion, drive, these are powerful forces. But without direction, without control, they become destructive instead of productive. You can have the strongest desire in the world, but if it isn't channeled into something clear, something intentional, it will consume your time, your progress, and your potential. Fire alone isn't enough. Fire has to be aimed. It has to be disciplined. Without that, it destroys more than it builds. Think about what fire does when it's not contained. It spreads wildly, devouring everything in its path. It doesn't create. It consumes. The same happens when your energy isn't focused. You get bursts of motivation, waves of inspiration, but you waste them on the wrong things, jumping from idea to idea, getting excited but never consistent, working hard but never finishing, starting strong but quitting when it gets hard. Passion becomes frustration. Drive turns into burnout. You start with fire in your heart and end with ashes in your hands, wondering why you're exhausted but not progressing. It's easy to mistake passion for productivity, but passion without precision is chaos. It feels intense, but it leads nowhere. You feel like you're moving, but you're only spinning in circles. You want success so badly that you're willing to do anything. And that's exactly what breaks you, because anything is not a strategy. Everything is not a direction. You don't win by doing more. You win by doing what matters over and over with focused fire that's locked onto a single mission. Focus is what turns your fire into fuel. It's the container that holds your energy and transforms it into momentum. Without focus, your fire is scattered, lighting up everything, but igniting nothing. You get passionate about 5 different goals, and none of them get done. You try to help everyone and end up exhausted and empty. You say yes to every opportunity and forget what your real path was supposed to be. Your fire is real, but it's out of control, and anything out of control eventually crashes. Control doesn't mean slowing down or killing your ambition. It means channeling it. It means aiming your fire like a laser instead of spraying it like a wildfire. It means using your energy where it actually counts, on the habits, the systems, the missions that take you from potential to power. Fire becomes productive when it's guided, when it's trained, when it has a mission. There's nothing wrong with having big emotions, deep drive, and powerful ambition, but those things must be rooted in direction. You need to know where you're going. You need to decide what matters. You need to commit to one path with intensity instead of 10 with indecision. Because every time you divide your energy, your fire weakens. Every time you switch direction, you lose momentum. And every time you act without clarity, you risk burning down the very thing you're trying to build. People often think that more effort equals better results. But if your effort isn't focused, all you're doing is draining yourself. You hustle hard, you stay up late, you burn through your days with intensity, but where are you going? What are you actually creating? What are you moving toward? Effort without intention is just motion, and motion without meaning is a trap. You don't need more passion. You don't need more hype. You need more focus. You need to take that burning fire inside you and point it like a weapon at your goals. That's when things shift. That's when results come. That's when people stop doubting you because you're not just talking anymore. You're executing. You're consistent. You're building something solid, something lasting, something real. There's a time to get fired up, but there's also a time to sit down, block out the noise, and aim your energy. There's a time to start being scattered and start being strategic. Because if you don't control your fire, it will consume your purpose. It will burn through your time, your relationships, your clarity, and leave you with nothing but fatigue and regret. So don't just be fired up, be focused up. Don't just burn, build. Use your fire as fuel, not as destruction. Turn your chaos into creation. Discipline your energy. Aim it. Own it. Because fire without focus doesn't make you powerful. It makes you dangerous to yourself. But fire is there with focus. That's unstoppable. That's how legends are made. When focus becomes non-negotiable, results become undeniable. That's not a cliche, that's a law. As long as focus is optional, your results will be inconsistent. As long as your attention is negotiable, something that gets tossed around by notifications, moods, distractions, and other people's priorities, you will never operate at your full power. But the moment you decide that focus is your standard, not your preference, everything starts to shift. You move differently. You think with more clarity. You execute with more conviction. You build momentum that becomes impossible to ignore. The difference between success and mediocrity isn't always talent or knowledge or luck. Often, it's simply that some people treat focus as sacred, while others treat it as flexible. When focus is sacred, everything unnecessary gets removed. You stop explaining yourself. You stop chasing what doesn't matter. You stop reacting to noise. You become intentional with every hour, every conversation, every decision. That kind of focus is rare, and that's exactly why it creates rare results. Most people say they want success, but they keep negotiating with their focus. They allow themselves to be pulled in and out of commitment based on how they feel that day or what's happening around them. They let small distractions become big delays. They treat their goals like suggestions instead of contracts. And then they wonder why nothing sticks, why their breakthroughs don't last, why their vision feels far away. It's not because they don't have what it takes, it's because they haven't made focus non-negotiable. Non-negotiable means you don't wait to feel motivated. You lock in, even when you don't feel like it. Non-negotiable means distractions don't get a vote. When something tries to steal your time, your attention, your mental bandwidth, you don't entertain it because your mission matters more. You've drawn a line in your mind that says, this is who I am now. I don't chase every shiny thing. I don't get caught in noise. I don't stop and start. I build, I execute, I finish. When focus becomes non-negotiable, your actions start compounding. You get clear on your target, and every day you move closer. Even the days that feel slow, even the days that don't look glamorous, they still count. Because you're consistent, and consistency builds evidence. You start to see results. You start to feel power. You begin to trust yourself again because you're no longer in a constant battle with your own discipline. You've removed the option to quit. You've removed the option to drift. You've decided. And that decision turns your efforts into results, not just once, not just temporarily, but predictably. Because when you remove the negotiation from focus, your energy stops being wasted. You stop starting over. You stop doubting. You stop explaining your delay. You're just moving, building, growing. People around you begin to notice. Not because you're louder, but because your results are. You become the person who follows through, the person who's dialed in, the person who makes things happen. There's a certain power in knowing you're focused, not just today, but every day. It's not a burst of intensity. It's a lifestyle. It's not emotional hype. It's identity. When you reach that level, you don't need validation. You don't need permission. Your results do the talking. People stop asking if you're serious because the consistency of your output already answered the question. And the world can't ignore someone who delivers. Again and again, no matter the noise, no matter the obstacles. This isn't about being perfect. It's not about being robotic. It's about choosing daily to protect your purpose from everything that tries to distract or delay it. It's about waking up and remembering that your vision isn't a hobby. It's a responsibility, and responsibilities aren't negotiable. They're owned, they're protected, they're honored. When focus becomes non-negotiable, your life begins to align. You attract the right opportunities. You find the right people. You create the right habits. Not by accident, but because your clarity is contagious. People trust someone who is consistent. Life begins to respond to your energy because you're finally showing up with intention. You don't get undeniable results by trying harder once in a while. You get them by locking in when it's boring, when it's inconvenient, when no one is clapping. You build trust with yourself in silence. You build momentum in the shadows. And then one day it all becomes visible because results don't lie. They're either there or they're not. And when your focus is unbreakable, the results eventually speak so loudly you don't have to. So raise your standard. Make focus non-negotiable. Don't let it be something you hope for. Make it who you are. The moment you do, everything changes. The chaos shrinks. The vision sharpens. The excuses fade. And the results, they become undeniable. You've got a vision. Protect it with ruthless focus. That vision, that fire inside you, that picture in your mind of the life you want, the impact you crave, the legacy you're here to build, it's not a random thought. It's a call. A deep internal knowing that you were made for something more. But here's the hard truth. Your vision will never become reality unless you guard it like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your future depends on your ability to focus fiercely, consistently, and unapologetically. The world won't protect your vision for you. In fact, it will try to pull you away from it every single day. Distractions will tempt you. Opinions will weaken you. Doubts will haunt you. The noise is endless. And if you don't have ruthless focus, that vision in your mind will remain just that, a dream, never a reality. Focus is how you defend that dream. Focus is how you give it life, step by step, day by day. You can't expect to move toward your vision if you're letting every text, every scroll, every piece of drama hijack your mind. You can't expect to build something great while treating your attention like it's disposable. Your focus is sacred. It's the gatekeeper of your potential. Every minute you give to something that doesn't serve your vision is a minute stolen from your future. That may sound intense, but it needs to be, because this isn't a game. This is your life. Protecting your vision requires boundaries, strong ones. Not soft, maybe sometimes boundaries, ruthless boundaries. That means saying no more often, no to things that don't align. No to distractions disguised as opportunities. No to people who drain your energy or question your path. You don't owe everyone access to your time, your mind, your mission. If it doesn't build you, it doesn't belong near you. It also means protecting your inner world. Doubt will try to creep in. Fear will whisper lies. Imposter syndrome will rise when you're close to a breakthrough. That's when you double down on focus. That's when you remind yourself why you started. That's when you silence the noise and return to the vision. You don't let your emotions dictate your discipline. You lead with your mission, not your mood. And don't expect applause. The early stages of building a vision are often lonely. People won't understand your focus. They'll call it too intense. That's fine. Let them. While they're watching everything, you're building something. While they're dabbling, you're dialing in. While they're distracted, you're developing. You're not here to impress the crowd. You're here to serve the calling. Focus protects that calling. The truth is your vision is fragile when it's new. It can be killed by overthinking. It can be suffocated by distraction. It can be delayed forever by waiting for the perfect time. You don't need perfect, you need focus. Ruthless focus. That means waking up and putting the vision first, before emails, before messages, before comfort. You train your brain to zero in on what matters, and you do it again and again until it becomes your default. This kind of focus isn't something you borrow. It's something you become. It's an identity. It's who you are when the world wants you to be everything else. It's what separates you from the masses. Because let's be honest, everyone has a vision. Very few protect it. Very few execute it. Very few are willing to build in silence, focus in chaos, and show up when no one is watching. That's what it takes. Ruthless focus doesn't mean you never rest. It means when you work, you really work. It means when you plan, you really plan. It means when you say you're going to do something, you do it. Because your word is connected to your vision. And if you don't keep your word to yourself, how can you expect the world to believe in you? You've got a vision not just for success, but for impact, for change, for a life that means something, but you'll never touch it if you keep letting distractions dilute your focus. You'll never become who you're meant to be if your energy is divided between what matters and what doesn't. The stakes are too high. Your time is too valuable. Your vision is too important, so make the decision right now to become ruthless with your focus, to turn off what doesn't serve you, to walk away from the noise, to stop waiting for the world to give you permission. Protect your vision like your future depends on it, because it does. Focus is how you honor that future. Focus is how you turn the invisible into the undeniable. Focus is how you rise.